they think because they are praying, oh, they are worshiping God. No, prayer is only power station. You charge yourself to be a worshiper, to be obedient. That's all. So the perspective that worship is the prayer and stuff like that is not that one. So you are worshiping actually. So the question is not are you worshiping? No, the question is what are you worshiping? You are worshiping because you are obeying
Therefore,
things.
if you're following,
Yes, the enemy is following the.
if you're following English law,
Brother, the camera for me.
is there a camera or just a light?
Now you know I have the gospel.
If you're following the English law, worshipping.
No, if he goes against Allah's law, then yes. But they are not forcing me to do that. Do you see what I'm saying?
What if an aspect of English law is in contradiction of Allah's law?
I don't have to obey it. They say don't obey it. Or they force me, say don't pray or drink alcohol.
There's also something in your religion that says follow the local laws.
This is not different.
Not unless they breach the.
And they are not
So,
forcing me.
so tell me, is there an example of English law that is in contradiction of Islamic law?
Sorry?
Oh, well, we all bloody getting cameras around us now. And Mike,
Are you camera shy now?
Very. I'm a shy
Really?
little.
It's not comfortable stuff at all.
I love the way they ask permission when they just like suddenly swarm around. I don't go around with tripods and lights, Sam, as you damn well know. I only get my camera out when you're getting violent. That's when I get my camera. So evidence for the police. That's the only reason I film. Hard evidence for the police of criminality.
You understand now the question of worship?
Hi, how you doing?
You stranger.
Huh? How you doing? No, I'm here, man. I'm here. Good to see you. How you
Been a
doing?
long time.
Good, man. I know. But I'm here now.
It's
It's an
actually
aspect of it.
prayer is the result. For example, I give you an example. It becomes the understanding. Now, I'm not eating or drinking. But I'm not in worship, not eating and drinking. But there is a time and a moment, if I don't eat and drink, I'm in worship, it's Ramadan. But now, I'm not in worship. But in Ramadan, I will be in worship because I'm adhering to the command, say don't eat and drink. Which I'm doing now, but I'm not in worship.
So the bottom line, Steve, you're worshiping your desires. That's the bottom line, what the gentleman is saying to you.
Do you have desires?
Yeah. Just like yours.
But you don't worship them.
No, I deprive them. I suffocate my desires. I deny my desires. I suppress them. You worship
Are
your
all
desires.
of your desires bad and warrant
All
being
are not
depressed?
bad.
So they were good desires that you don't
Some
need to
bad.
suppress.
Because now, for example, you're not eating and drinking.
So I've been cultivated. However, the reason why you find accepting God or God's way of life difficult because you're enslaved to your desires, your carnal desires. And
Why
liberalism.
should it be that rather than me just intellectually reach the conclusion that there's no evidence for it, I don't want to believe in it?
Great
Why
points.
does it have to be what you were just describing?
Because human
It could
beings,
be both, couldn't it?
human beings are more emotional than intellectual. They are more emotional than logical. Human beings tend to follow more of the emotions
That varies
and
from
less.
person to person. doesn't
It does. But generally speaking, human beings are more emotional than logical. Therefore, liberalism is one of the widest spread religion in the world.
Because I see, particularly looking at Speaker's Corner, the greatest levels of out of control emotion are from highly religious people. And it almost seems a direct, I know, it almost seems a direct correlation to me within Speaker's Corner of the level of religiousness and the level of emotionality of emotions. So that's kind of the opposite of what you're just saying, because you're basically saying...
Well, in a conversation, a person can accept God and live a godly life. In a conversation, he or she may behave emotional in a conversation. When it's about religion, politics, or sports, people get emotionally charged. That's the thing. But what we're talking about is a way of life. When people are invited to serve God, huge amount of people find that hugely problematic because they're enslaved to their carnal desires. Meaning to say, the freedom to, and the attachment and
the high level of emotion sometimes entering violence here.
That's isolated
Nothing,
case.
nothing.
Have I ever been violent to you?
Regularly. No,
Have I
you
ever
haven't.
Exactly.
No, you haven't.
To this, brother.
Sorry?
I think you're being a little unfair,
Right.
where the average religious person does not come to Speaker's Corner on a regular basis.
True.
It is no different to, for example, me going to a far-right party and saying, look, all these people are racist, and they're all white, so all white people must be racist. No, it's not that. Most white people wouldn't go to a far-right convention. Likewise, most religious people don't come here on a regular basis. The people who do come here are highly invested, highly emotional. So it's not about
I
religiousness.
agree with what you're saying. So therefore,
Good point, very good point.
With us being the exceptions, clearly, Speaker's Corner must attract the emotionally unstable of the religious
Passionate,
community.
passionate. I don't see it as emotional still, I see it as passionate.
Additionally, quite a lot of
But they're
people.
not behaving very stably, are they? The sorts of scenarios we're talking
No,
about.
that's a little bit of generalization, Steve. It's not fair, but it's a
When
generalization.
fights and scuffles break out, which they do regularly, frequently they're being driven by a religious fervour, a religious passion.
But it's the same very religious
Passion that's
people.
driving violence.
Is it not the same religious
And
people?
disrespect.
Is it not the same religious people that intervene and quell the scuffles?
Yeah.
Exactly. So we self-manage ourselves.
Could be better.
But that's not the conversation we have.
Because there's another aspect, particularly unique to Islam, isn't there? That,
Which one?
You don't dob your brother in it. So
What does
so
that
therefore,
mean?
when the police arrive, you run to the police and tell a complete pack of lies just to defend the Muslim brother. That does happen. I've seen it.
Human beings lie.
Time and time
Would you
again.
agree human beings lie? Whether Muslim
I would
or
never
otherwise?
I would never run to the police and lie to protect an atheist brother. Never in a million years. I would tell the truth. Like I just said to Sam, I get my camera out and film it, whoever's doing it. But unfortunately, sometimes it's frequently a member of your community.
But Steve,
your
coming back to the conversation, you have had
But I
multiple
accept that This place
years.
doesn't represent the
You have
whole.
had multiple years of conversations with Muslims. You probably read about Islam. You've heard about Islam. You have quite a lot of interaction with Islam. And we were asking you, in terms of your summary, where you at in understanding Islam, or why you find Islam so difficult to reach.
As I said earlier, you're repeating this to the camera.
No, I'm speaking to you. We contextualize
The
it.
microphone. You've got three
It's
of
not
them.
my mic, Steve.
I know, but you accepted them. You got four on.
There is no detective. Working with Barber. Yes, exactly.
I'm this week's entertainment. We are this week's entertainment. How much do I get of the monetisation of these four channels? Because we know they're making a bomb. I want a cut. I don't need interest. I don't need
MI5
interest.
is not paying you enough.
But I need a cut. No, they're not. I told you, they got the wrong bank account. Your answer to your question is because it's culturally more distant from my culture.
But logically, intellectually,
So we're talking, I'm basing on the reality of life that I see.
reality of what?
Of life as I see.
What reality of life? What are you talking about, Steve?
The cultural differences.
What is the culture? What are you talking about? What cultural differences?
Many fronts.
Islam,
Women, homosexuality,
right?
food.
Right. Okay.
punishments,
Islam,
crime, justice.
Islam is a way of life. It's a
And
disciplined
that's half
way.
the problem. That's
Yeah.
half the problem.
It's a disciplined way of life.
It's half the problem.
It is
Because
a
other
discipline,
religions are not quite
and
like
it represents a discipline that many pleasures that you engage with, as you talk about, you just mentioned some of those pleasures. I would not repeat them. You may perceive that you have to give these pleasures up in order to serve God properly. And is that one of the barriers between you and Islam?
It's not just about my personal giving up of things. It's the society that I would like to live in. It's not just all about me.
Yeah, but I'm living in the same society as you. I'm living. So
You're very
if you were to accept Islam or accept God as your Lord and to worship God, it's not to say you will have to live in Mars or they'll send you to Russia. That's not the conversation we're having. The conversation we're having is that most people don't want to accept God, His way of life, is because we are enslaved to our desires, our carnal desires. That's the conversation we have.
Even if I accepted
Logically,
a
okay.
degree of what you're saying,
Forget the desires part. Logically, how would you refuse Islam logically?
there's no evidence for it.
No evidence for what?
For God. or any God of any shape, any form, any number. 2 gods, 3 gods, 1 God. Afterlife, life after death. No evidence for it. No evidence of going to a heaven or a hell or whatever you call them. Zero evidence.
Right.
Zero evidence.
This evidence conversation.
This is fable.
Even
This
had
is
loads in
folklore.
this.
This is fable and folklore. Of which there are so many multiple variants of it around the world, throughout the world and throughout history. So many variants of these types of things. You're just saying your brand is the right one. Why should I accept that when there are a trillion other ones too? I might go and accept her brand.
Oh, really?
Don't like it. See what I mean? So even if I accept the core thing about this creator that you obsess on, there are many different variants and names and versions of that creator for me to pick and choose from.
But we are not obsessed with names. An entity existing.
So
Right.
you
We're
believe
not
Christians
obsessed.
are believing the same God? Do you
just a-
believe Hindus are believing
before-
the same God?
Okay. That's a different conversation because I cannot speak for Christians. I'm a Muslim. But
I
what I'm
think-
trying to say.
I suspect you think their God isn't the right God.
Right. But I don't want to get
So
I don't want to take debate on that
me as
road.
not believing any of them.
Sorry?
Me as not believing in any of them, I don't believe in theirs and I don't believe in yours.
I understand that.
But if I accepted this core tenet that you keep on about, that there must be a creator, because back to the conversation earlier, the other guy's conversation of how did the cake come about, even if I went down the road of concluding, there must be a creator, I may not conclude that it's your creator.
That's fine. It's a step in the right direction.
Is it?
But the question
Would
is
me
this.
becoming a Hindu be a step in the right direction? Maybe not.
I'm not sure.
No. But me becoming a Christian or a Jew, I guess, would be.
But when the stomach
Okay.
is empty, what the body does,
Can I ask you?
it goes to the
I think you'd be open to the idea of accepting a creator, an all-powerful creator.
I wouldn't be. No.
You're not open to the idea at all.
He does. He does. That's to throw you off your game.
You even
I said
said
that's
just
to throw
now
you off.
that you would accept it.
No, I said if.
Okay.
It was for the sake of the
Let's
discussion.
say if. Let's
I
say-
would never.
let's say if
Well, I never
rationally-
say never, but now
Let's
I'm
say
pretty firm.
Let's
in
say if
not-
rationally you could accept that there is an all-powerful creator. That's where we come from. Put religions to one side. Yeah?
I wouldn't even take that first step.
You would take that first step.
Okay, let me make a point. Intellectually, we were talking about the emotional side.
Is the thumbnail of all these videos going to be
Thumbnail?
Muslim slaughters atheists?
Yeah, I hate
Or I know they're going to be that because it's all about the clickbait, isn't it?
You're not an atheist. That's number one.
No, well,
So it cannot
yes,
be.
I am. What am
No,
I?
you're not.
What am I? Very nice chap.
Just like to provoke and
Can
poke.
can I make sure
Poke.
this guy edits the titles of all of these videos? Because I know I've got more faith that he'll give a half decent, half accurate title to
give your
these
message,
videos.
give your message. Tell them how they should say the
Yes, exactly.
Lovely discussion between Muslim and atheist. Both shook hands at the end and said,
If you
see you
don't
next
do
week.
it, he is MI6.
Exactly, and every one of you is going to be demonetized. And I know that's what's most important.
Exactly.
It's the demonetization. It's not the dawa. It's the bloody, excuse my language, it's the monetization. Anyway, where were we?
Right, Steve, what we were saying, beyond the emotional side of human choice, intellectually, logically, in the most common sense deduction, you would agree there's
Common sense. You want us to
very
use
common sense.
Common sense.
Yes.
Is that the right thing to do when talking about such complex things?
It's not complex.
Common sense.
I have a way of simplifying it.
Go
So,
ahead.
for example, I don't have the ability to break down complex things. I could only understand things in a very simplistic way. I'm a simple
Might mean
man.
You're getting them wrong.
I'm a simple man. But check this out. Mathematically, you cannot have something out of nothing.
This is far too
They're simple.
simplistic for something as incredible as the universe.
It's incredible.
You can't reduce it down to simplicity.
Oh, can you
cannot do that.
can you reduce it to say something came as a result of something?
No.
So what would you propose?
I'm not a physicist.
This is not about physics.
It is, because you're talking about the ultimate creation of everything,
No, let's talk about our reality.
which simplistically is referred to by
let's talk-
many people as the Big Bang.
Our personal
You can't
observation.
describe the Big Bang in simplistic terms.
That's fine, okay.
Can you?
I agree with that.
Or even understand it in
That's fine.
simplistic terms.
That's fine. Let's look
That's
at
what
our
you're-
reality.
That's what you're trying to do.
No, let's
Trying
look at
to
our
reduce it
reality.
into
You're my
simplicity.
teacher. You're teaching me, and I come to you and say, Steve, is it possible that I have something that came out of nothing?
Yes. What?
So you will have to present examples for me whereby we have something that came out of nothing.
Simplistic. It's far too simplistic.
But remember, you're talking to someone who's
You're
simple.
trying to use a simple. Yeah, but you can't explain these sorts of things to someone who's simple, and you're not that simple anyway. But even if you were, you can't do it.
But in principle,
These things take immense amount of discovery and thought and research and understanding and complexity. You and I probably can never understand it.
we're not attempting to
Don't
understand it.
simplify. You are by simplifying it.
Would you agree?
By saying God did
would you
it,
agree?
basically.
Would you agree?
I can't fathom in my weak little mind, and that's not an insult, in our weak little minds, I can't fathom how else it could have happened other than God doing it.
So we learn, we
That's not a
understand.
way to go about solving.
We learn and we understand.
Well, you need to understand physics. And,
No, right. We learn and we understand. One of the processes.
We think we understand.
Okay.
Often we don't.
We learn and we understand, or we think we learn and we understand by observation. It's one of the processes of learning and understanding. And to the best of our knowledge, by observing life, you cannot have something from nothing.
You just keep repeating that mantra, but
But I'm trying to-
it's simplifying things.
Yes. But then show me an example how you can have something
Because when
out of nothing.
when I and many others throughout time and at Speaker's Corner have said, but what about God? How could God come from nothing? Your get out for that is, oh, well, he was always there. So the question doesn't apply to him. It's just a get out of jail card.
Well, if it doesn't apply to him, does not mean to say the question is not answered.
If it
it
doesn't,
doesn't.
apply to him, why shouldn't it apply to the universe?
Because
for
there's a difference
example?
between a creator and a creation.
Well, I don't even believe in this thing that you use the word creator to describe.
Do you believe in existence?
Yes.
You sure?
Yes. Yes, we all might be in the Matrix. It all might be a dream. Well, sometimes dreams are very real, aren't they? Do you
Yeah.
have dreams that you actually you
They are
like
real.
half wake up
They are real.
and then
Yeah.
you really think you were in that moment?
Yeah. They are.
That makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
What does the Quran say about dreams?
The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught us dreams of three types. One is revelation and guidance from God.
Right.
Two, one could be from ourselves, our experience, what is on our mind, our subconscious. And three, one could be from shaitan. And you would know what shaitan is.
I would go for the middle one.
The shaitan.
No, the middle one. Is what you're like. That is what dreams are. It's the brain resting and unloading thoughts. No,
So the
no external influence from these.
Well, you can reject it if you want, but the question is the truth has been made clear to you.
Shaitan doesn't exist any more than God, Allah.
You must know your father.
You saying my father's Shaitan? I hope the audience is enjoying.
No, sorry, I take that back. Please cut that one out. Cut.
Of course, there'd be no editing on any of this, will there?
You don't believe in satanic behavior?
No.
Okay.
What is that? What
You
is-
believe in supernatural?
No.
Have you heard of supernatural before?
It's the word. Yeah, I know.
The
what it
word.
means, yes. Not
Have you
real
seen
stuff.
people possess?
Like Uri Geller bending spoons, that sort of thing?
No, I'm not
Trickery.
going there. No,
Trickery.
I'm not going there. No. I'm talking about someone present now and no history of other languages and start speaking other languages or having
Wow.
having strength beyond human capacity.
The first example you gave, major brain trauma, can have perplexing results. So,
And make you learn-
So people wake up with very strong accents that they never had before.
We're not talking about accent.
With completely different
We're talking about-
memories from what they had before.
I'm not talking about memories.
No,
We're not
I
talking
doubt
about that.
they wake up knowing a completely different language. No.
Okay.
So you can give me some
What about human strength that is beyond average?
Well, I mean, the power of hypnosis. The power of hypnosis is pretty amazing. You know, people can have really, what's the word? Operations that, you know, normally you or I, you could not go through that without an anaesthetic. People can go through it without any anaesthetic, just under hypnosis. So hypnosis and the power of the mind can be incredibly strong. And I believe the power of the mind can ultimately heal you from physical illnesses.
You believe in that? Prove it then.
Well, there's been cases of it.
Well, I'm not saying there's not. I'm asking you to prove it.
Maybe I can't prove it.
But you believe in it? All right. Now we're making some progress. Now we're making some progress.
Fell in the trap. He fell in the trap.
Oh, are you trying to lay traps for me? Is that what?
I'm joking.
Is that what
I'm fully
it's all
aware,
about?
I'm fully aware.
No, you fell in the trap then by uncovering the trap. Or highlighting the trap. See, I'm not.
Steve, it's a pleasure. I got to run now.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Take care.
Take
Next
care.
time.
Don't forget your
Yeah,
microphone.
next time we need to have some conversations about some
I thought you were going to
politics.
say we need to have some food as well.
Yeah, but it's on you. MI5 salary. It's on you. Sorry?
2 minutes, what you discussed the Muslim should just
Oh, well,
I'll sit in for him.
yeah. We go on then.
Finish it for me. What do you want to conclude with?
Well, we're just talking about the conversation we had with Steve. Steve is very intelligent, mature, well experienced, and he is an intelligent person. You know what I mean? And sorry. Yeah, I think we were having conversation with Steve. One of the brothers was engaging Steve when he takes the position, the stance that he's an atheist. And we went through the process of explaining in simple terms, there has to be something responsible for something. And there's no case reference or any kind of case references where you will find something in existence which was caused by nothing. So they try to take it in a very simplistic way to explain that. And to ask Steve himself as an individual, has his brain ever triggered him to find out the cause of his existence, to question his existence? And to some extent, Steve was in denial on it. But Steve have multiple conversations with Muslims, and we ask him to really ask, what is his stance on Islam as a way of life.
And we try to give you some sesame things for the brain to work, but I don't know.
He's
Steve,
been here for
sometimes
years
maybe
that Steve is Steve.
you know, like what you call a protein bar, maybe that would be.
But I think fundamentally it's well known that most people are serving something, enslaved to something, and Steve agrees and acknowledges that he is one of those individuals who he loves liberalism, love the freedom to do what he wants. And most people don't want to give up that freedom to serve a God that orders order and discipline. So I think this kind of liberalism is a kind of God that people serve. And when they're asked to, or they're invited to serve a God that has order and prescription and a way of life, then they find it very difficult because it's too opposite. It's actually too opposite. So we have radical liberalism, moral freedom, religious freedom, guilt freedom, freedom from family life, freedom from marriage. You have freedom from all of the historical religious contexts of life. Freedom from responsibilities. So all these different freedom now, and now when you come into invited to serve God who has order and responsibility and a complete way of life, then it's two opposites clashing. So Steve sits at one of those fences.
I don't know, I read from somewhere, one of the thinkers, I don't know exactly his name, but if you Google it, you'll probably see it. He said, the most enslaved people are those who believe that they are the most free.
Yeah.
Those who believe that they are the most free are actually the most
Enslaved.
They can't Google
It's quite
it.
interesting.
One of the things, I don't think he's even a Muslim.
Yeah.
He's just a writer. I think he's a sociologist or like a thinker or philosopher. He says people who believe that they are the most free, these are the most enslaved ones.
We conclude with that, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.
I don't know. Which one?
You're on camera now.
Sorry? I'm not on camera. Are you on camera?
No.
You like to talk, Chris?
Guys.
Are you on camera? How are you doing?